Detroit Lions owner Martha Firestone Ford said her franchise was in need of a fresh start, so she's turned to a New Englander to get the job done. First-year GM Bob Quinn has certainly levied his own stamp of approval on how he wants to do business as the lead architect of the Detroit Lions. His first major decision was to retain the services of head coach Jim Caldwell, followed by a front office shakeup, the size of which this franchise hasn't seen in years. I caught up with Two-Man Advantage podcast's Darrin and Carlo over the weekend to get his thoughts on what Quinn has done so far. Transitioning now to the Lions, obviously the big news last week was the fact that Jim Caldwell will be back as head coach, and certainly Bob Quinn has been making the new general manager of the Lions his stamp on what he wants this team to look like.
Oh, absolutely. He is coming in there. He is getting rid of all these longtime Lions personnel guys. They're of scouting. Been with the organization for over 10 years. Gone. So he's really putting his own spin on this organization, which I love. Obviously, what has been working for the last 10 plus years hasn't been working. So let's try something new. Do whatever you need to do, Bob. Go out there and just gut this thing as best as you can. And hey, let's see what we can do. And it's all about acquiring players, getting the right kind of players. And I like to see what he does with this first draft, which he's at the helm of. And especially because he has the backing of Rod Wood and Martha Ford. So I think he's free and clear to do whatever he wants, and as well as he should.
Well, and you look at the decision to bring Caldwell back. I haven't talked to you since they made the decision, so I'm just wondering your general thoughts on the decision to bring him back, and obviously the player support factored into this decision as well.
Right. I think it comes down to two things. Obviously, the system that he has in place seems to be working for the players, and the players really want to play for him, which is important, when having a coach, is having that connection with the players. And also, number two, and I got to say this is the most important, his staff. People was in love with Jim Bob Cooter as the offensive coordinator, and I think with a full offseason, under Jim Bob Cooter, you'll see a different Matthew Stafford this up in the year 2016 for the 2016 season. That, and also if Tyrell Austin remains with the Lions defensively as a defensive coordinator, that's always a great start because I think he is a head coach in waiting, and I think he really needs another really good season to solidify his name. Coaching candidate. On the downside, though, you want to see this guy come in and put his own stamp, bring in his own guy, and say because you really don't. Just because Martha says, okay, we'll give you this job, but you got to keep him, And a lot of people think that that Bob is spineless, for doing that. You're being in charge of all team, but you can't coach you want. So, worst case scenario, you keep for another season. Hopefully, hopefully it all works out. Maybe that this will be the kick in the ass that they need to get everything all straightened out. But when you think about it, there really weren't that any good coaching candidates out there. You weren't going to see the Lions go after Chip Kelly or who else is out there? Adam Gase was high on the list, but you don't see them going after someone like that.
Well, the two on their list were Josh McDaniels and Matt Patricia, obviously because of their ties to New England and Quinn. But
Yeah,
assuming that New England makes the Super Bowl, you were going to have to wait until after February to make uh, coaching change. And by that time, the assistants for all new staffs would have been gobbled up by other teams. So I think
exactly.
it like you it's like you said, it provides Quinn with a year to sort of get the lay of the land, and if he gets off to a bad start, he can make his own choice at the end of next year. And I think also the decision to bring Caldwell back also plays into the fact of whether or not Kelvin Johnson will be back. Because I don't think if they made a coaching change, the chances of Kelvin coming back were very high. But I do still think he's thinking about retirement. But the fact that Caldwell's back has to be in the Lions' favor as well.
Absolutely. And speaking Calvin, he has a very big cap hit coming up for his contract. So if he really wants to stay, really want to help this team, restructure your deal. Help Lions because they need more help. Like you're already pretty much in the Hall of Fame, or at least the Lions Hall of Fame for sure.